I found some interesting videos online from two Indian women. Now, if you looked at my interview I conducted with Shweta on our African Diaspora News channel, she was talking about her book and what she went through with colorism in India. Because even with their own people, they treat them bad if they're dark versus the whiter looking Indians. Now, you know the history of India. It was colonized by the British and they were treated bad. They had names for them. They made them do all their labor, etc. Once again, you would think that Indians would take issue with the white supremacists, but oh no, they take issue with the black man and woman. That's who they take issue with. Case in point, I want you to hear what these two women say about, especially the women, if they even fall in love with a black man, what would happen to them? Let's go ahead and roll that clip.
So in most Indian families, it's unacceptable to marry someone who is outside of your race and religion. So especially, it is forbidden if you marry somebody black. So that was like huge. I actually just left Marshall's and the manager, nice looking, dark brown skin, dreads, was asking me if I was Indian. And I was like, yeah, I am. And he was telling me how he was engaged to an Indian woman. And then her parents went and found a dude in India for her to marry. So she called it off with him. And he was like so hurt. And I was like, what the fuck? So I told him, I was like, that's her fault because she knew what her parents were like.
So do my Indian parents finally accept my half-black children? Let's get into it. So last I left off, I haven't spoken to my dad in over a decade. I think the last time I spoke to him was in 2013. I don't need him in my kids' lives. He disowned me a long time ago, or I felt he disowned me, even though I felt like he wanted to communicate with me, but he didn't want to own up to the fact that he has half black grandchildren. He would tell people I'm off somewhere studying. The kids didn't exist. There was no pictures of me in his house. There's no pictures of the kids in this house. Anytime I would see one of his friends, oh, how's school? Bro, I'm married. But anyways, yeah, I don't need that in my life. You'll learn more about my upbringing with my dad and my stepmother in another video. There's a lot there. Anyway, so now let's get into my mom. I tried. Guys, I tried. And I'm like, okay, let's see if she changed. And I would use little triggers to see how she would react. There were 3 things that I'm like, wow, you can still do this to this day? So one was my 21-year-old hurt his Achilles in December. He got hurt. I told Instagram, Facebook, all of that. So my mom follows me on Facebook. So she read it. And I also told my sister, who told my mom. My mom writes me 4 days after it happened. And she was like, she wrote me on Facebook Messenger. She's like, is, Elijah okay? I was like, he's okay. He's in a lot of pain. She wrote me 2 days after that message and gave me a thumbs up emoji. A thumbs up. Okay, whatever. So I decided to visit my sister in Maryland, and because she just had a baby and I wanted to see my nieces. There's 2 of them. So I went there with my oldest daughter, who was her favorite when I was younger. She was literally like, give me her and I want to raise her again like she was her daughter, because, apparently she didn't raise me and my sister right. Yeah. Anyways, so I brought her to Maryland to see her grandmother because she also wanted to see her uncle and her aunt and all of that good stuff. And my mom, the only thing she really said to my daughter was hi. There was no conversation. There was no, oh, how's school? Or what are you doing? Are you working? There was no trying to get to know her granddaughter at all. And I'm like, that's crazy. You would think she wants to get to know her grandchild. Like, who wouldn't want to get to know your grandchild? If I had a grandchild, I want to know everything about that child. But yeah, she really wasn't trying to talk to that child. And it was very disheartening to see. Very disheartening. I'm like, wow, okay. I'm going to have to get to a part 2 because there's not enough room in this video for this.
Now, the reason I'm covering this is because these people bring over their anti-black sentiments. So as you hear in their community, they don't want them marrying outside their community or their religion But if they marry somebody, they better not marry somebody black. Now, if you notice, everybody on the planet Earth collectively, all these collective groups, can't stand the black man, can't stand the black woman. And yet, we didn't colonize India. No black person colonized India. No black person had them in squalor and being destitute and everything else that the British done to them. We didn't do that to them at all. And yet, you have more smoke for black people than for white folks. But check this out. They'll say all that, but let Zaddy come in there, talking about he wants to marry an Indian. You're like, oh my God, yes.
So in most Indian families, it's unacceptable to marry someone who is outside of your race and religion. So especially, it is forbidden if you marry somebody black. So that was like huge. I actually just left Marshall's, and the manager, nice looking, dark brown skin, dreads, was asking me if I was Indian. And I was like, yeah, I am. And he was telling me how he was engaged to an Indian woman. And then her parents went and found a dude in India for her to marry. So she called it off with him. And he was like so hurt. And I was like, what the fuck?
You know what I'm saying? Like, the last people I would want to marry is the people that colonize my people. No. Like, y'all should be paying me a reparation. That's what you should be doing. But that's how they are. They all, it's just not them, it's all these other groups. Got something against the black man and woman. Now, I could think about it, well, maybe it's not just the white supremacists on the genetic survival thing, because let's call it what it is. If a black man has children with an Indian woman, the children not gonna come out looking Indian. They'll come out looking black, especially how dark they are.
So do my Indian parents finally accept my half-black children? Let's get into it. So last I left off, I haven't spoken to my dad in over a decade. I think the last time I spoke to him was in 2013. I don't need him in my kids' lives. He disowned me a long time ago, or I felt he disowned me, even though I felt like he wanted to communicate with me, but he didn't want to own up to the fact that he has half.
Now, you know good and well they got African blood running through them. We all know that. Look how dark. They are the darkest people ever in the Asian part of the world. They are dark. Some of them darker than me. But yeah, I don't like you because you black. Bro, you darker. How you don't like me? You darker than me, bro. Like, what you talking about, right? But they come over with those attitudes, anti-black sentiment, and then we get a Vivek Ramaswamy. That's who we get. Donating to Daniel Penny in the tune of $10,000. A lot of times what you're seeing on the apps like TikTok, etc., you see a lot of women exposing their community, some men too, exposing their different communities. That's another reason why they don't want TikTok around, because everybody exposing everything. Information's coming too fast. You heard the other woman. She has 8 children with a black man. I've seen her TikTok before. She's married to her brother and everything. And her kids, all of them look black. Not now, one of them look Indian. But if you look at her, just by glancing, not really staring at her too much, you thought she was a black woman. Until you really look at her hair and everything else. These people are crazy, and what I would say to her, don't bring your kids around them people. Don't even talk to them people. 'Cause I'm like this. If you're not for me, you're against me. I don't care who you are. I'm not being around anybody that's against me. Even if it's my own parents, which my parents don't feel that way about me at all. But even if it was my own parents, no, even if it's my own child, if you are against me, I don't trust you. That's how I always have been. I don't play that with people, because you give people an opportunity when they are against you, they're going to do you something. And I don't like to be vulnerable like that. So no, she needs to completely stay away from those people. Like I said, to be disowned because you got married. You had children. Obviously, it's a decent dude. He's taking care of his family. But that don't matter because he's black, right? But that's the type of people that is important to America. That's why I told you. It's a lot of anti-black racists that's being imported here. I remember when I was in South Africa and they was talking about that, say, you know how outnumbered y'all are in America? y'all are completely outnumbered. He said, at least over here, you're not outnumbered. And it's not, like I say, it's not just the white supremacists. It's the white supremacist Indians and certain Asian groups, and then you got the Arab groups and certain ones in the Hispanic community. We have all these different people that have anti-black racism. We really are outnumbered in America. Really. We do not have a single ally. But let me know what y'all think about, what these two women had to say and the brunt of it they had to deal with. Of course, you're going to have some people like them that's going to rebel against it, but unfortunately, the majority are going to be on some anti-black racism. That's just in the culture.